It's been a little bit delayed, but we're going to talk about all my stats now. Hello and welcome to my channel, The Danish Readaholic. My name is Silka, and today I will be going through my 2023 stats and also talking about doing my wrap up for October, November, December. It's a mouthful, so we're just gonna get into it. So I read a total of 46 books, and that equals out to a total page count of 13,980 pages, which averages to around 1,165 pages per month. When it comes to authors, I have read books from 27 authors that were new to me, and 12 I had read before. With star rating, I have 1 star, 2 stars, 15 3 stars, 24 4 stars, and 4 5 stars, which is good. Then we have the representation. I have 2 with mental health rep, 3 with LGBTQ+, 3 with racial, 3 with disability, 16 with multiple types of representation, and 19 with no representation whatsoever. Then we have the author nationality. I have 5 Danish authors. I'm just gonna look at this one. 21 American authors, 1 Indian, 5 British, 3 Australian, 2 Canadian, 1 from Ireland, and 1 from Malaysia. Then we have the genre. I read 1 classic, 5 contemporaries, 3 romance, 21 fantasy books, surprise, 8 graphic novels, 1 thriller horror, 2 nonfiction, 2 dystopian sci-fi, and 2 miscellaneous. Then we have the type of book. I have 28 books that was a part of series, 16 books that were standalones, and 2 rereads. Then we have the intended audience. I have 12 middle grade books, which is honestly a surprise to me because I don't feel like I've been gravitating towards middle grades, but apparently I've read a lot. Then I have 26 YA books. I have 1 new adult. I will say though, I need to get better at distinguishing between when it's YA, when it's new adult, and when it's adult. So it might be a little bit of a mix, but I think I will be better at it this year. And I have 6 adult books. Then we got to the format. I read 24 audiobooks and 22 physical books. Then we have the sources. 21 of the books that I read were owned, 8 were hauled, 9 were gifted, and 8 were borrowed or from Script or Audible or wherever I find it. And finally, we have the releases. 13 was released in 2022 up until 2023. And 33 of the books that I read were released prior to that. Now we're going to talk about the books. I am going to start off with October, then November, then December. In October, I read 2 books, and 2 very different books. I listened to both of them as audiobooks. One of them, I think, if you've been watching my first line, you'd be like, finally, she read it, so it doesn't show up there anymore. And that is She Gets the Girl by Rachel Lippincott and Alison Derrick. I don't remember what this was about. It's not a book where I was like, oh my god, it's amazing, I'm so in love. It's not. It has great representation in it. However, I did find it to be a little bit predictable, but that is just kind of like how I tend to feel with contemporaries. That being said, I did really enjoy it and I did have a good time with it. If I remember correctly, it's about Alex who has a girlfriend, like a long distance girlfriend that she wants to impress because she is like a flirt and she doesn't have any female friends that she doesn't flirt with or all of that. Then we have Molly who is in love with this girl named Cora, and then Alex decides to help Molly get Cora so that she then forms this friendship with Molly in order to help her with Cora and also to impress or show her girlfriend that she can actually be a good friend and have female friends without there being anything romantic whatsoever. And I think we all know where it goes from there. But I did like it. I think I gave it, what did I give it? 3 stars? 3 or 4 stars. Somewhere in between that. Then I have actually one of my rereads of the year, and that is Season of the Witch by Sarah Rees Brennan. This is the first book in the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina series that is inspired by the Netflix original series. When I first read this, I gave it 3 stars. This time around, I actually gave it 4 stars, but I still have the same issues with it that I did before. However, I think I focused a little bit more on what the story was actually about, and I actually did like it more this time around than the first time. However, I still don't feel like they did Ambrose's character properly. He wouldn't have done what he did in this because he just wouldn't. So that is like a big issue I have with it. However, I am really excited to continue with the series, and I think I will do it soon because they're like really short reads. And yeah, if you also just like really like the witchy vibes, I would also recommend. Like, it's like a small town witchy story, and I really enjoy it. And I don't think that you need to have seen the show to read this, if I remember correctly. So I recommend. Now, moving into November, I'm just gonna say straight off the bat, I wouldn't recommend this. But also, it was just not for me. I read Into the Wild by Jon Krakauer. It's just not for me. I don't have anything else to say, but it just doesn't feel like a story. It just feels like somebody telling me I went into this place and I did this and this, and it was confusing because the main character keeps changing names, so I was like, who are we even talking about? And I don't know, it was just not for me. Okay, now we get into December. I did read a lot of audiobooks that I actually don't own, but I'm gonna start off with talking about the books that I do own and then mention the other ones at the end. First up, we have Christmas Dinner of Souls by Ross Montgomery. This was so much fun. I loved it so much. It's basically about this one guy who accidentally breaks a window at this school, and then he has to attend this Christmas Dinner of Souls to make up for it, and then work as like a busboy. Then he has to listen to all of these people, like very scary, dark, gruesome people, tell the worst possible Christmas story, or the scariest possible Christmas story that they can come up with, and that is basically the gist of it. And then it's really good. I would recommend. It is a middle grade, but it's so much fun. Then I read Whiteout by Danielle Clayton, Tiffany D. Jackson, Nick Stone, Angie Thomas, Ashley Woodfolk, and Nicola Yoon. This is like, I think if you read Blackout, or at least know what it is, you also would know what this is. But in this we follow a bunch of love stories that are all intertwined, and I just actually really enjoyed it. There was just some of the couples that I was just like, yes, I love this so much. But there were also some of the couples where I was like, okay, this is very similar to what happened 2 chapters ago with a different couple, so it's not really that unique to me, and it doesn't really have that big of an impact. Then again, it is a contemporary, but it's a cozy contemporary set around winter, and I love it. Then we have Midnight in Everwood. I liked it for the vibes. I am not sure I could tell you what it's about. I do know that it's inspired by the Nutcracker, and I could definitely feel that, and there was a lot of magical elements in it that I really liked, but the switch between the real world and this realm that she goes to confused me a little bit, because I felt like it was very sudden, and maybe I wasn't paying attention. That is also a possibility, but I don't know, I wasn't really feeling it. But it definitely has all of the wintry vibes. I wouldn't say Christmas because it's not like warm and fuzzy. It made me feel a little icy. I don't know. Does that make sense? But it's definitely beautiful, and I'm gonna keep it because it's stunning. I remember I have already talked about this, but now, like, I don't think I did it in a wrap-up. Well, I know I haven't done it in a wrap-up, but I read Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Sue Lynn Tan. This, when I went into it, I was like, okay, I'm not really gonna like this all that much. I think I'm gonna give it just like 3 stars at the max. I think I ended up giving it 4, and it was just, I really like this way of doing a story where it's not like one quest that we go on. It's multiple quests, and then we have one big goal that only our main character knows, but that's like her quest or goal. But then we go and actually solve a bunch of smaller quests and then figure out that there is actually something bigger going on. And I just really like that way of building up a story. I feel like that's a little bit unique. Like, for example, the book that I'm currently reading, they just went on like a mission to get this thing, and that's the entire thing. And on the way, she figures out who she can trust and who she can't. With this, it's like, okay, I have this main goal, something that I personally want to achieve. And to do so, I need to gain the trust of this person. And to do that, I need to figure out what they need from me that would grant me a favor. So it's basically her working as like an archer, figuring out what she can actually do to gain this favor from the emperor, I think it is. And it's so good. It's so good. I loved it. I have also read The Hate You Give, and that was a reread. I had to read it for class, and I liked it the same amount that I did the first time around, and I would recommend it, obviously. Then I read Mary Poppins by P.L. Travers, and I had never read Mary Poppins before. I didn't know what type of story it was, and I felt like it's definitely a children's book, and it's very much like a chapter book in the sense of every new story being a new chapter. So you could like read it aloud for kids at night and then read one chapter, and then the next day you could read something else, and then maybe in a month or so you can revisit Mary Poppins, and you wouldn't be confused because every single chapter is its own story. And I really did like that. It was not what I was expecting, but I did like it, and I felt like despite it not being a Christmas book, it gave me all of the Christmas vibes that I was looking for in December. Then I read Beneath the Sugar Sky by Shauna McGuire. This is the third in the Wayward Children series, and I'm excited to continue with it. I think I'm just gonna get on with it and then slowly acquire all of the books because I do really want them. The new one that just came out seemed super cool. Like, just looking at the cover, there's dinosaurs on it, and I'm so excited to see what that is about. So I need to get on with it so I can be up to date with those books because I really do love them. So I don't know why it's taking me this long. The final two books that I read that I'm going to talk about together. It is two audiobooks called The Weirdies and The Weirdies Get Weirder. They are narrated by Kate Winslet, and they are written by Michael Buckley. They are hilarious. If you need a good laugh, do yourself a favor. If you have Audible, go find them there because they're free with the subscription, so you don't need to use credits or buy them. So you can just go ahead and listen to it, and they are so much fun and so quick. I think they're only an hour, maybe two. So it is really, really short, but they're just so good and so humorous. And I don't know, it's about these three kids that are just miserable. Like, they're awful children. Their parents leave them to go on this cruise, and then they're just like abandoned at home. And then I think the cruise ship just kind of, sink. And then these kids go to like a foster home, and then they get adopted by this lovely lady who's just the polar opposite of them because they're awful. And then it's just their dynamic, and it's just so goddamn great. So I would highly recommend. I think that's it. Simple and straightforward. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a comment telling me how many books you read in 2023. If you just want to let me know that you're here but don't want to comment, you can always leave a green heart. If you like this video, please hit the like icon, and if you want to see more of my bookish content, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It will mean the world to me. And until I see you next time, bye!